Through enduring hardships, the tears of pain I shed today will be the tears of joy I shed tomorrow. I am Coach MJD Tiger, certified life coach and mentor. Through passion and purpose, aiding those through the valleys, over the mountains, and conquering the volcanoes of life. While free, yet connected to everything, every place, and every person around us, we can obtain a life of freedom and wellness through passion and purpose. There is no end. You are here now. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Learn, laugh, and level up. How are you feeling? Take a moment to do a self-check-in for yourself. Do this every morning, throughout the day as needed, and every night before you close your eyes for sleep. Ask yourself, how are you feeling mentally? How are you feeling emotionally? How are you feeling physically? How are you feeling spiritually? And all, how do you feel in your mind? How do you feel in your body? How do you feel in your heart? And how do you feel in your soul? Balancing yourself is a healthy daily practice that will reliably keep you in harmony with your entire mind, body, heart, and soul. Take these next few moments of meditation in silence to answer those very questions. How are you feeling? Something to think about every day, every single day. Fear, mistrust in yourself, doubt, limited beliefs. These are things that you have to rid yourself of every single day. And it may have to be a reset button every single day. That reset button is trust. And that button is powered by self-love and self-respect you have for yourself. Everything that you fear, everything that you believe is holding you back, everything that you think is going wrong, there's always another way. There's always a different point. And sometimes we're going too fast. We got to slow down, sometimes even stop. The goal is just not to go backwards. It's to go forwards. We can only do that by trusting ourselves to know we can get over fear and obstacles, limited beliefs, and the stories we tell ourselves each day that we can't do it. Yes, we can. Yes, we will. Yes, we do. That is something to think about every single day, every single moment. You do, you can, you will. There is no should. There is no try. Just do it. Be patient with yourself, love yourself, be grateful for what you have, and forgive yourself, and keep moving forward. You are stronger than what you are giving yourself credit for. Trust yourself. You are. Episode 9. You are the hero to your internal villain. And that's something I've been talking about a little bit in the previous episodes. What does it mean to be your own hero? What is the benefit of being your own hero? I think everyone wants to be saved by someone at some point. That came from when we were younger, as children, when you don't have all those days of experience behind you, when you're not quite able to perceive the future in a completely total negative light. You may be a little fearful because you don't know what the future will bring, but for the most part, you're being saved every day by your parents, by your loved ones, by your pastors, by your teachers and your mentors and your coaches. And then over time, you start to develop your own abilities, your own sensibilities. You start to develop your own skills and superhuman abilities that are unique to you, so to speak. Your own talents, your own specialties, your own traits. And you slowly start to be able to take care of yourself. When you get in trouble, you're able to figure out how to get out of that trouble. When you fall, you learn to quickly get back up and not just lay there. That's a good feeling. It's a great feeling. It's a feeling that makes you feel that now I can start being able to push the envelope a little bit, because I don't have to have someone there every single time something happens. I can just move on confidently, knowing that I'm not going to lay there forever. That's a great feeling. Then we move even further. We start having to take on responsibilities. Now people rely on us. We have to step up to the plate and play our part, whether it's a job, a role in the church, in the family, on your own, on a team, owning a business. Any of those dynamics, you are a crucial part. Who wants to be the weak link? We want to play our part. We want to play it confidently. We want to be able to do things that make our part in the roles that we play beneficial, essential. We want to grow and learn and become a hero to those around us. A task like that doesn't happen if we're not a hero to ourselves first. And I believe you are, if you're listening to this, a hero. You have to be. If you woke up this morning and decided to move forward in life, you're already doing something heroic, because it's so easy to give up. But to give up means we're listening to and being influenced by our own internal villain. In a lot of cases, villains. Multiple villains. And we're the only hero. We have to face these villains. We have to show them we're not going to back down. That our fortitude and our strength and our resolve is going to help us move forward every single day. If we're able to conquer and face these things internally, they produce fine results externally. Because it gives us confidence. No one knows what type of villains we have within us. Only each of us as an individual knows just what type of villains you have within yourself that you have to face every single day. And it's not good enough just to lock them up. I believe those villains have to be sent away, jettisoned within yourself. You have to get rid of them. They can't be dealt with every single day. Who wants to deal with the same villain over and over and over and over again? Eventually, you want them to go away, so you can focus on something else. Focus on another villain that's been creeping up and taking advantage of the fact that you're so focused on this other internal villain. The reward is action. The moment you take action, the reward is starting to unfold. The gift is starting to present itself, because without action, you're allowing those villains to essentially take control of your life. It breaks you down piece by piece, day by day, until eventually you don't have enough strength, enough courage, enough passion to even care about facing the villains. And unfortunately, what ends up happening is the hero is jettisoned, and now you are the villain externally. Suddenly, all your fears and anxieties and depressions and all the limited beliefs and all the traumas, all the toxicity, all the narcissism, all the extreme empath abilities you have, they have served you in the wrong direction. And now you are stuck as a villain within yourself with no hero to fight off what has come. Which is why, again, I say the reward of a hero every day within yourself is actually taking action against these things to prevent that sort of an outcome from ever presenting itself. There's nothing worse than the feeling of being overcome by negative emotions and knowing that those negative emotions are now running your day. They are now out in the forefront, in front of you, and everyone can see you are being run by negative emotions. Everything you say, everything you do is coming from a place of negativity, from darkness, from the villains inside of you that have overcome all the good in you, have overcome all the passion and the core values that you know you have. Who we are internally, externally, that is exactly who we are. It may fluctuate from day to day. You may not be as quote unquote villainous than the day you were before. The next day, you may be completely different. Maybe it's toned down a bit and it masks it just a bit. You're not quite as down and dark as you were the day before, but it's still there, because the work to actually deal with these internal villains, these internal struggles, these internal limited beliefs, these traumas, these horrible stories we tell ourselves, the selfishness, the sense of wanting to control everything and being disappointed when you cannot, the failures, all of those things cannot creep themselves out into the open in front of you and become your facade, become your costume. Eventually, you have to do something about it. Eventually, you have to face these things alone, because it's your vessel, it's your body. And the only person who is obligated to fix what's internal in themselves is the person who is the owner of those villains, the owner of that collection of darkness, collection of failures and limited beliefs, all the things that will make you be an ugly person on the outside. The person someone doesn't want to be around, someone that people don't trust. A person who's not leading by example, who's not showing that they are capable of bringing any positivity to anyone else. Because there's too much of an internal struggle going on, and people can sense it. People can sense when another person is struggling internally and faking it. It's very obvious, because there's a lot of inconsistencies. And we know this because we know within ourselves, each person knows their internal fight and the inconsistencies they have with dealing with them. Because if it was consistent, it'd be disciplined and you wouldn't have a lot of those issues. And we can see people who are overcoming those things, they seem to deal with things a little bit better. They seem to be a little bit more disciplined about things going wrong. They seem to be a little more focused on not what the outcome is going to be, but what the action is in the moment. They're more present. They don't make excuses. They are doing what they have to do. They're living within purpose. It's extremely difficult to live within purpose when you've been distracted by things within yourself that are clearly eating away at whatever passion you could have for any purpose you would find in the first place. It's like dynamite going off within yourself. You're constantly imploding under the weight of what you don't want inside. And at the same time, not taking the steps to be brave enough to face those fears and actually do something about it. And not only do something about it, have a goal and action plan in place to actually get rid of it for good, to jettison all those negative aspects internally about yourself. Easier said than done. Nonetheless, that's a trek, a journey, a path that each individual at some point will have to make. Life is easy and simple when we create easy and simple within ourselves. If it's not easy and simple within ourselves, externally, we will appear and we will respond and we will act in a erratic, dark, rude, selfish, cruel way. And those are all the traits of the internal villains within ourselves. And again, if those villains aren't dealt with, if we aren't focusing on that, it's real easy and to become those things without even realizing it, because it's not sometimes a quick process. It's a slow, unwinding process, because there was too many steps along the way. Externally, we get comfortable. We get comfortable with the way people look at us, the way people respond to us, and we think, hey, I got away with that today. Perhaps I can get away with this tomorrow. This person let me get off the hook with this today. Maybe I can do this tomorrow. This seemed really simple today. How can I make it simpler tomorrow? And we get in habits. We get in bad rituals. And over time, we realize, wow, all those little things that I was making those adjustments on, a lot of that came from me wanting to make things easier so I don't have to deal with what's really inside. And what's really inside are things that I know if I have to face them, all the things on the outside that I was making so easy won't be so easy anymore. Because now I have to deal with how people react to me wanting to do the work on myself. And in order for me to do the work on myself, I have to focus on myself. And in order to focus on myself, that takes away all the time and energy I could put into other people. And that's okay. We all have those ugly demons. I know I do within me that I have to constantly face and address. But it doesn't do you any good to face all of these demons and monsters and villains within you all at the same time. I chose the path of picking one at a time, making it a focal point, and getting it to a place where I can jettison it and never have to face that again. And not only face that particular fear or that particular anxiety, that whatever it is in me that is making me feel like I'm not enough, that I can't trust myself. I work on it, I focus on it, and I fix it, and I turn it into a positive. Now those villains that I had, instead of, again, we don't want to lock them up. I want to jettison them, or I want to take that villain and make it a hero for myself, an ally. That goes back to us having help. We have to help ourselves. We even have to be our own sidekick. Some of those villains can be turned to the light, and we can use those things. There's all kinds of limited beliefs within us that we could turn into unlimited beliefs. And now suddenly that villain is an ally. It's a sidekick. It's something we can rely on. We can trust it because we know what it used to be. and we know what we can do with it now. And if I can do it with that, what other things can I turn in my favor? Now, not everything within ourselves we can turn into a positive. Some things we just need to get rid of completely, jettisoned completely. But there are plenty of things within us that if we focus on them one by one, you have the strength to face it, turn it, and make it a positive in your life without hurting anyone on the external. It's patience and understanding with yourself. That patience and understanding will branch out of you, and that energy will go into someone else that could use that from you. Positive energy, that karma, that's what we're looking for. The benefit of facing these things within ourselves is that we can not only turn them into positives, but we can also use those things that we learn, the energy that we have, the state that we're in, to help others. It doesn't do us any good. I should say it doesn't do anyone else any good to be around us if we're in a state of panic all the time, because we are not really facing what's inside. We're running from ourselves. We're not facing the villains within as a hero. We're running from the villains within like a coward. And it translates to the exterior. It starts to resort to darkness and anxiety, abuse and toxicity, narcissism and control, because all of those things, again, start within us, but they affect other people. So what we can't get on the inside, we'll start looking for what we can get on the outside, because that's easier to control. It's easier to focus on someone else and get them to do what they need to do versus you controlling your emotions and your passions and your rights and your wrongs and focusing on what you need to do. It's so much easier to tell someone else they need to do this, but you don't have, at the same time, that same type of drive and determination to tell yourself to do it. There are plenty of people out there who tell themselves every day, I'm going to do this today. You should do this today. You go and do it, but that person doesn't do it. It's a negative trait, and it starts from within. They've told themselves they're going to work on something internally. They promised themselves they were going to do it, and they never did it. And it translates to the outside. And it affects our relationships with those who are closest to us. It leaves a negative stain on your relationship with others when you're constantly telling people you're going to do this and do that, and you don't actually do it. Or you're saying you're a certain way, but visibly you're completely not that person you're saying you are. It all goes back to internal. I have found that the more you focus on yourself internally, facing those fears, it doesn't guarantee you that you're going to be a great person, but it certainly guarantees you'll be a better person. No one is perfect. We all have these demons. We all have these dark days, these dark moments, these trials and tribulations and things that we avoid because the thought of dealing with something that is dark and gonna take time and patience, and we're gonna have to swallow our pride and maybe talk to this person about this, or maybe get rid of this thing over here. It can be overwhelming. It can be something that can wear you down over time if it's not faced. It can add extreme stress and depression, anxiety in your life if it's not faced. And again, ultimately what it does is it will creep out of you and present itself right in front of you where other people can see it. And now your issues are starting to affect other people's issues. Your bad days are starting to affect other people's good days. You are no longer a person who can be followed because you're lost. And I have been through it. You have been through it. Everyone around you has been through it. We've all been lost. We've all had to admit that we failed. We've all had to admit that we could have done better. We've all had to ask for forgiveness. No one is void of that. And those who say that they haven't, either they haven't lived a fulfilled life just yet, or they just haven't been through enough just yet. Because eventually those steps, these paths that we take, you're going to run into a storm. You're going to have to face that volcano. And that trial is going to test you like you have never been tested before. It is life by design. In order to grow, you're going to have to go through a period of darkness, coldness, being uncomfortable, and you have to endure, thrive. Everything in nature does that. Human beings are not void of anything that everything else in nature has to endure every single day. We have the added ability and benefit of being able to reflect and pinpoint a lot of the things that we can change. We have the ability to change location and change our state of mind, where a lot of things in nature don't have that ability. The great thing about being a human is that we can be whatever we really want to be under any circumstance. We still have a choice. We can choose to turn inwards and face these things because it makes us a better person for those who love us. We could be a better person for the work environments that we are contributing to the churches we add value to the teams that we're on. If we are letting ourselves down, we are letting all of them down. We're letting our whole community down. And each and every one of us is better than that. But it starts within. It starts with courage and trust in yourself that whatever's in there, it can be overcome. And the moment you take action, you are already overcoming it. We have to take ownership and responsibility and accountability for who we are inside, so we do not affect the world in a negative light. We have to make sure we are the type of person we want other people to be for us. We have to invest in ourselves the way we want other people to invest in us. We cannot expect the unexpected if we are always surprised by the unexpected. The unexpected is going to happen. You should expect it and not be surprised by it. And the way we do that is by no longer being surprised about what is inside of us and what we can do about it. Unexpected things will pop up within us. We shouldn't be surprised by it. We take action like a hero. The last thing we want to do is become the villain. The hero will always grow within you if you're taking action and you have ownership and accountability, and we can learn to swallow our pride and learn to make sure we aren't hurting others, and that we are every day doing things for good. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Learn, laugh, and level up.